What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to College Football Talk with Peter Burtnett, bringing you kind of what I'm calling an in-between episode, just kind of bringing you the latest in college football news, in the transfer portal, a couple quarterbacks making either a big decision in their recommitment or a quarterback making a transfer, and just kind of giving my thoughts on college football at this point right now, as we're just under 2 weeks away, or right about 2 weeks away from the college football playoff. Coming up in the near future, I'm going to have a couple videos, probably looking at some of the bigger bowl games that are coming up here soon, previewing some of those, obviously the New Year's Six games, and probably some of those other games like an Alamo Bowl or a Holiday Bowl, those type of bowl games, Citrus Bowl, that pit together kind of a couple of good teams, and looking at those matchups, going through players who are playing in those bowl games, players who aren't. But if you go on to enjoy this video, please feel free to leave a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and turn on those post notifications so you're always up to date. But without further ado, let's dive into it. And getting things started, the big news in this video, kind of to lead, it's going to probably be in the headline, Dylan Raiola, the number one quarterback in the 2024 class. He's flipped his commitment from the Georgia Bulldogs to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And to me, somebody who lives in the Omaha area, a little bit south of Omaha, and is really in the heart of Husker territory with Lincoln, about a Memorial Stadium for me is probably about a 50-minute drive, 45 minutes maybe on like a clear day on the roads getting down there on I-80. Right here situated in the Omaha area, not far from there. I know that this has been garnering a lot of hype, the potential of this move happening. Raiola was in Lincoln. I think he went to the Huskers. I think he went to the basketball game and was having a visit this weekend after Kyle McCord, and more on Kyle McCord in a little bit, because he also made a move in the transfer portal. So Raiola, again, he's a top-ranked quarterback in the class of 2024. I might take a deeper dive into what his skill set is as a quarterback, but obviously he has earned that spot as a top quarterback in the class. And to me, what Matt Rhule is building there is certainly intriguing. And it's going to be the thing that's said, because ultimately it is, one, it drives interest and viewership, and two, from the Huskers fans themselves, kind of gets that real interest. Not like it ever has gone away. This is a team that has had sellouts in every single game for years and years and decades upon decades. So there's always hype in this team, but something like this kind of builds that even more. And there's talk that can build then from this, and I've already seen a little bit of it, saying things like Nebraska is back. And I want to put a little light touch on the brakes real quick, because I know that we've had these sort of building hype things. We saw, especially in last offseason with Colorado, people saying that the Buffaloes are back, that they're going to, suddenly go on this run and they're going to win, 10 games. I think that was probably the upper tier of what some people were saying, like the craziest level, but plenty of people were saying that, and then they go on and still only win 4 games. And so I think, it is important to kind of pump the brakes a little bit here, but I think that it's a big coup to take Dylan Raiola from Georgia. And he does have an uncle, I think Donovan, who is on the Nebraska coaching staff. So there certainly are some familial ties here in the area, but it's a big commitment to get for the Huskers, and he's moved around his commitment a little bit. Raiola actually started as an Ohio State commit, then moved that to Georgia, and now he's in Nebraska. I imagine now it would stay that way. I think there's a good class coming in. There's actually a few guys coming into the Nebraska class that I might make a video on, because I covered their careers here, and those are quarterback Danny Kaelin, who had a visit to Michigan State, but he ended up canceling that, and looks like he's locked in with the Huskers. And a couple wide receivers that are teammates with Kaelin, Isaiah McMorris and Devon Hall, and then Papillion La Vista tight end Eric Ingwerson. Obviously, there's some guys from the Class A Nebraska State champions, Omaha West Side, led by Caleb Benning. They've got a big solid class coming in. Another guy from Nebraska, Carter Nelson, tight end out of Ainsworth, Nebraska. And so there's a lot of homegrown talent, but then you get a guy like Dylan Raiola, and obviously you have other guys in their class, and maybe I'll look into their class a little bit deeper in another video. But I just kind of in this one wanted to give some quick thoughts. It's a Monday, have a little bit of some free time as I wait for some things for work. So just wanted to make a quick video on that, talking about Raiola to the Cornhuskers. So that's because that's obviously a huge commitment. And then the second thing, I mentioned his name earlier, Kyle McCord, officially, I think yesterday on Sunday, whenever you're watching this video, transferred to Syracuse. And he had taken a visit out here. McCord, you know, I imagine there was communication with Coach Rhule about what the quarterback situation looked like, and probably maybe even an understanding that Raiola was going to be coming in. Obviously, I can't fully speak on that because I don't know what those conversations looked like exactly. I'm simply speculating here a little bit, and I don't want to speculate too much more than that. But McCord announces that he's going to Syracuse. I think it's a little bit out of the blue, and it's not exactly surprising. It's a little bit closer to home, being from New Jersey, just east of Philadelphia, Kyle McCord. So getting closer to home again. I think it certainly is. I mean, there's no denying, all respect to Syracuse. It is a step down, though, from Ohio State. McCord faced a ton of pressure at Ohio State, and ultimately, I think, faced a lot of backlash, often undeserved. Certainly the level that he received it. He is, at the end of the day, a young man who's really a college student who is really good at the game of football. And sure, when he plays the game, he deserves some critique, but I think the absolute backlash that he received from Buckeye fans was unwarranted and honestly well over the top. So he goes to Syracuse. I wish him nothing but the best moving forward. It'll be interesting to see. Syracuse has produced some good quarterbacks recently. Tommy DeVito, the guy who's kind of taking the NFL by storm for a couple of weeks here, suffered an injury now, but had been the talk of the NFL, especially with his agent. He had a couple good games with the Giants. So Syracuse, I wouldn't say they're exactly known for quarterbacks, but either way, the Orange will have, they'll have a solid offense next year, because I think McCord, he might not be the absolute top of the line quarterback, but he is a solid quarterback nonetheless. And finally, speaking of quarterbacks, I was going to make a video on this, but I was really feeling under the weather both during and after the Heisman ceremony. If you watch my last two videos, the Washington and Texas ones, you can kind of hear that a little bit. And by the time it rolled around to Monday and Tuesday after the Heisman ceremony, I really wasn't feeling it. But talking about Jayden Daniels, he officially announced today he will not be playing in the bowl game against Wisconsin. That's a bowl game I'll probably be taking a little bit of a look at. Obviously, I won't have as much interest in it because Daniels will not be playing, but what an incredible season for the LSU quarterback. I think the deserved Heisman Trophy winner. I did expect Michael Penix Jr. to win it. That was what I said as the ceremony was going on. I was on the phone with my fiance actually, and I told her I thought that he was going to win it. But overall, a phenomenal season by Daniels, and I think sure the record might not show it, but you look at Tim Tebow winning the Heisman Trophy in 2007, and I'd have to really take a deep dive into the tape. I'm not saying that their styles are at all similar, but the stats certainly were, and I'll probably pop up a little bit of comparison. Tim Tebow's 2007 stats and Jayden Daniels' 2023 stats. Just taking a look at both of those teams, both led their teams to solid seasons. Not quite good enough to be in any real contention for a title, but overall a good season and an incredible season individually for Daniels. But those are kind of my thoughts on the latest in college football. Again, keep an eye out the next couple of weeks. I'll certainly start diving into the college football playoff matchups. Probably before that, though, I'll be taking a look at some of the bowl games, especially the New Year's Six games, probably giving some previews and predictions for those. So keep an eye out for that. But if you stayed to the end of this video, thank you so much for taking the time to watch College Football Talk. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, this is Peter Burtonette signing out. Peace.